Hey, so how are you? This is Aaron McKay with Bird Be Gone with another installment of Ask the Expert. Today I'm joined again by our good friends Jeff Watts and Brian Donahoe. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Doing awesome today.
I am outstanding. Summer's coming, sun's out, weather's nice. Looking forward to things moving forward.
Right.
And the calls are coming in.
Yeah, it's been eerily busy. A lot. I mean, if I could sit down in a room and plan for a pandemic and how to run a business, I did not expect what's been happening over the last couple months.
No travel, and plenty of phone calls, man.
The birds didn't get the memo.
No,
right?
It's all good.
Birds apparently keep on being pests. So today we are going to talk about bird control and specifically the solar industry and maybe a little bit about why solar panels are such a wonderful place for birds to hang out. So, Brian, the solar industry and solar panels and bird exclusion, it's kind of one of your focuses over the last year. So love for you to kind of jump us off.
Yes. Starting with the whole clean energy thing. I mean, that's kind of been at the forefront of our country's priority list. It's green energy, and solar panels is a big part of that. They're powering houses, and I don't think that one of the intentions was to create a perfect nesting place for birds under solar panels, but it happened, and I think that this industry is going to continue to grow. I've been looking at it for about 2.5 years now, almost 3 years now, and all it's done is grown. Yeah. And I've seen it here in California. There are new mandates saying, I think it's in 2022, when all new houses have to have them. But you're going to see that start to move east like it does, and it's really created a nice niche for pest control operators who are doing that kind of work, and also for solar maintenance companies. I've had the privilege of working with some great solar maintenance companies. They do a great job, and it started with panel cleaning, and then they kind of evolved into bird abatement from underneath panels. Yeah. Jeff, you've probably seen this going on longer than I have. When I came, it was kind of rolling, but you saw it when it was just in its infancy, right?
Yeah, I mean it was mainly in the southwestern states. Mm-hmm. Vegas, Phoenix, L.A. But every major city now is really pushing green energy and everything like that.
And they should.
Even places you would not think of, Toronto
right.
and some of the northern states are very high on the solar panel. And like you said, it's becoming more and more mandatory in certain states. But as far as guys getting into it, the solar installers just weren't offering that solution. Right. And so by the time the birds moved in several months later, a year later, that company's long gone, and the homeowner doesn't know who to call. So they've been calling us up. So
right.
Yes,
that's a good point.
A lot of entrepreneurs out there, getting into the business, whether it's the solar maintenance companies catching on,
right,
to, like you said, the pest and wildlife industry doing a good job, because they're already handling other exclusion work up on the rooftops and down below. So it's a natural. But the homeowners just didn't know who to call, so they've been calling you like crazy. So
and it is incredible, the perfect nesting place that these solar panels make for the pigeon. Heck, they can lay their eggs, leave them there, go fly out, do whatever they want. There's enough warmth and shelter to hatch those eggs, and that's just incredible in the animal kingdom. They barely even have to sit on them, and they can procreate like crazy. I have people who've had their panels up 3 months, and they have a family of 8 pigeons under their solar panels. It's incredible, and it's not going away. Right. So I think that if I were a pest control operator or business that offers this type of service, it's something I would look at. It's something I would definitely, it's worth a phone call to us. I mean, we can tell you kind of what goes on with it, what we hear, what different methods they have for cleaning up. 'Cause cleaning up's a big part of it too.
But
cleaning up is a very important part of it.
It's easy work though, man. I mean, it's the hardest part is clean up, like you said, but also access, right? If you're dealing with some of these Spanish tile roofs and stuff, that's the hardest part. Putting a skirt on there with those clips, it doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, hopefully on the Spanish tile you can do some cutting on the ground before you get up on a roof like that, so you're not spending that much time up on the roof. But it's a no-brainer as far as install goes. So you can knock out a pretty large panel in no time at all. It's pretty straightforward. Obviously, we have the videos online to show you how easy it is. But man, it can't be easier for an installer. But you're going back to, just the rooftop access for these birds. We used to go out to Vegas before the solar panels, right. And you have birds out there. Pigeons are very adaptive. They're from the equator up to the Arctic Circle, but they weren't nesting on 118-degree rooftops out in Vegas.
Right. True. Good point.
Until we put these start putting these shelters up on, and now they're living up on these these rooftops. So it's a grown. We're building, bat nest, basically bat homes up there for them. Yeah. I mean, bat homes, bird homes. Sorry, excuse me. So that's a whole different segment.
So you'd say the real, I guess we'll call it difficulty or challenge comes with getting on the roof, and then being able to move around, and the cleanup. Because cleanup's not something we typically comment on. We leave that up to the installer.
Yeah. Same with safety, but
correct. So those are all things that need to be addressed if you're planning on doing work for birds under solar panels. Because like Jeff said, actually putting the mesh on there is simple. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. But if you think that that's all it is, you need to look into it more. There are challenges that come with it. Like I said, I work with many solar companies, solar maintenance companies, and they do great work. And I'm always learning something new. Like coming across a new little challenge that they find or issue. So, it's a learning process. We're in the midst of it now. And it has been, it's created a market, and that's great. And, by addressing this bird problem, we're helping people inside the house too, because these panels are oftentimes near, intake vents or exhaust fans or things like that, where, you get bird droppings in there, it's going to be all bad. We mentioned in another segment on Ask the Expert talking about disease. Yep. Well, if it's sucking in these different bacteria or diseases or what have you, that puts families at risk. So it's not something you can afford to really ignore, because it's going to compound on itself. I mean, what's the most you've heard of birds being under panels? I've heard, like 25 of them. I've heard crazy numbers.
Yeah, but it's not only the sheer number of birds. It's the droppings. Here in Southern California, our air conditioners are down on the ground, usually right below the eaves.
Right.
Yep.
Could be right below those solar panels too. So all that stuff can be dropping right into my air conditioning unit. Up in Vegas, for instance, you have the AC rooftop AC up there, and those create great nesting spots too. So now we're just moving them, right? So you say how easy it is, but it could lead to so much extra work in that neighborhood too.
Correct.
And obviously it's a neighborhood, it's a residential thing, so you're just going to go all through that neighborhood, all kinds of opportunities for you.
So, have you guys heard any horror stories of families' health being impacted by bird presence on top of a solar panel or anything?
Yeah, you get a couple national instances across the country that you hear about. Obviously, you have your own safety issues with the installation company as well.
Right.
I've heard hundreds of horror stories about our installers getting sick, even losing a few over the years. Falls and everything like that as well. That's a whole different thing as well. But yes. There have been cases where they're able to, especially the multifamily residences, HOAs and stuff like that, where, if a family member gets sick, now that property management company is at risk now. Yeah. So that's the whole goes back to that liability issue and everything's like that, taking care of their tenants.
Yeah. I haven't had any horror stories specifically linking being sick to the bird droppings. I've gotten calls where family members are continuing to get sick and they don't know why, and they have this problem. So you can imagine that I'm sure there's a correlation or there's a link between the two. But horror stories, how I see horror stories, are taking hundreds of pounds of pigeon poop out from underneath panels. I mean, that to me sounds like a nightmare. Right. And companies do it on a regular basis when they're doing these installs, and I'm going, how the heck can you create that much poo underneath those, 6-inch high little nooks under those panels? But they do it.
They do it quickly.
They do it regularly.
Yep.
And very few birds. I mean, those things produce feces like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
Right, and I think maybe a good thing to highlight for people that are looking at getting into this line of business is that cleanup component of it. Obviously, you need to protect your own personal health and safety, but that should be a component of the job that you're selling, right? Because that's a real value that you're adding to your customers, because you're protecting your own personal health doing the work, you're protecting your customers' health, and then you're creating a sanitary environment to install the solar mesh.
Correct.
But I think because we have a wider audience, not just pest control guys, maybe we have some wildlife guys or even industrious DIY types. When I hear solar panel products, the first thing I go to as a person that lives in a home is, hey, are you going to damage my investment? Is installing this solar mesh, which you've mentioned, both of you guys have mentioned, is that going to actually damage my solar panels at all?
Correct.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. We were talking about safety and health and all that stuff, but not the efficiency of that panel up on the rooftop.
Well, and I think you're talking about will it void the warranty of the panels, and I'm glad you brought that up, because there have been times when I've been working with wildlife operators, pest control operators, and they have asked me, they have said, the solar panel installation company says that your solar clips will void our warranty, and that's just not true. That's just not true. And I don't know what their motive was behind it. And this is talking across bird control as a whole market. Us, other bird control companies, everybody. Our clips will void the warranty. That's just not true. So when pest control operator, solar maintenance company, wildlife operator, what have you, recommends these products, they are not going to void the warranty on your solar panels. It doesn't disrupt any of the performance of the solar panels that I've heard of. Yeah. So it's a really great system to have in place, and I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes kind of normal for panel installation companies to hire, third-party installers to just put this stuff up. Yeah. Because as of right now, they haven't taken on that responsibility when they put up the panels. So, it's going to continue to grow, and we'll see how this market evolves.
So with our solar clips, we're not actually drilling through the panel or damaging the panel in any way or anything like that.
Correct.
Or the roof. Simple. We're not voiding that roof warranty either.
Right, and we're very conscious of that. We don't want anybody calling saying that our product's voided a warranty. Yeah. So, no, it will not hurt it. We don't have to drill. We don't have to cut anything. So,
yeah. Well, I think so. I'm newer to the Bird Be Gone story, and I think one of the coolest things I've been able to enjoy over the last couple of years is see this segment of our business, the solar mesh panel business, grow so significantly. And that growth of our business has actually meant people in the market growing their business significantly. So, are you guys aware of any, just really fun success stories? Companies that have gone from, hey, just small mom and pop or maybe sole operator to growing their businesses with the solar industry?
Many of them, Aaron, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not going to name them specifically because that opens up another can of worms, but I'm sure if they're watching this, they know who I'm talking about. There's some in Southern California who I've had the pleasure of working with, who I consider close friends now. We talk together regularly. We help each other regularly. Great family, great company. We've watched them go from an idea in a bedroom, like Bird Be Gone did, to a company with vans and with multi-employees and buildings now. And it's just so cool to see that, because that's the American dream, right? Yeah. Is to have an idea and to make it happen. And to be a part of that is great. I've seen it happen in Northern California, in Las Vegas, Phoenix. It's starting to move west, east, as I mentioned before. And people who are grabbing the bull by the horns on this and doing it, and it's really just fun to work with them. They're good people, and it's a pleasure to be part of that. They help us, and we help them, and in turn we're helping families. So we're really helping everybody. Everybody wins.
Yeah, well, we talked. I'm not sure if it was this episode or not, but we were kind of talked about some of the new products that we have that are good introductory products to get guys into bird control. Yeah, this is one of them. It's not new. It's not new for us, but this is one of those products where it's so easy. The new guys just getting their feet wet. It's a great tie-in to get up there and get a few jobs under their belt, feel comfortable being up at height, clean up issues. Selling jobs, proposing, working with us as far as getting a materials list. And those you're talking about success stories. Can't even say it. But that's guys have started getting into bird control work with their first attempt at some of these solar panels, because they're so plentiful, but they're also easy to close and do the work and everything like that. And since then, they felt more comfortable bidding on some of these more involved jobs, involving netting and track and things of that nature too. So
that's good. Yeah. So any other final comments on solar panels?
No, I'm glad we had the chance to talk about it. It's a industry that's near and dear to my heart, so I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think just to end on Jeff's comment, I mean, the solar mesh and several of our other products, which I'm sure we'll talk about, great on-ramps to explore bird control. I think oftentimes people, when they think about bird control, it's a different species. It's just a whole new world. I want to go that route. But a lot of the products that we sell and a lot of things that we talk about are very, very easy. You don't need to be an engineer or an architect to do this stuff. So hopefully you guys join us next time on our next installment of Ask the Expert. We look forward to seeing you soon. Talk soon.
See ya.